Welcome back, Raw Thoughts listeners, to another episode with me, Mackenzie Tiggs. Today, I have Haley Smith on with Upgrade Labs here in Meridian, Idaho, and we're really going to deep dive into what biohacking is and how we can actually use that for our mental health. So, Haley, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your experience of getting into the realm of biohacking, what that actually is.
Okay. So, biohacking is the practice of optimizing and enhancing your own biology through science, lifestyle changes, and technology. So, I would say personally, I've been a biohacker before I ever really knew the term of biohacking. I've really always been in tune with my body. I've always been into fitness and health and trying to enhance my health through learning, listening to different podcasts and diet changes. I then learned really the term of biohacking and what it was.
So I'm going to have you break that down to a listener's viewpoint that has no idea of like what actually are the tools and skills to biohacking to be able to optimize our health, being able to increase the technologies that we use for our bodies. What does that actually look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say an easy one is like sleep tracking. A lot of us now wear like Fitbits, Apple Watches, Whoop bands, Oura rings. So that's like a technology tool that we can use to optimize our sleep and learn how different lifestyle changes would impact our sleep and our recovery. With that, then you can look at it and say, hey, I am like 95% recovered. I can have really high strain or activity today. On the opposite end, if you don't have good recovery, if there's different lifestyle changes that you've done, maybe the day before, of not getting good sleep, then therefore you would not want to have a high activity day. So, yeah, that's a tool that many of us use, and we probably don't even know that we're using it. And that's a biohack. Another one is supplements. So you can supplement to basically biohack your day and things that affect your health and how to like enhance your sleep, or maybe it's muscle cramps. Also nootropics that help with cognition. So even coffee is a nootropic.
Okay. So how did you get into this realm? Because biohacking seems like you could do this to any source of your life to be able to biohack it to improve your health.
Yes.
So how did you get into this world?
Yes. So I would say I started listening to podcasts, but I also had a very open mind of this. I grew up, my dad was essentially a biohacker before that was a term that I knew. He was always looking, I grew up in a small town in Idaho, so we didn't have access to a lot of things, but he was always reading and looking for ways to optimize his health. And at that time, my dad had bought a machine at home that was very similar to the cheap machine that we have at Upgrade Labs here in Meridian, Idaho. So that machine will give you a whole week's worth of exercise in about 4 minutes. And so I think that opened up my mind that there were ways to cheat the normal system, as I guess we have it, of a gym workout, of the traditional like hour long of cardio that unless you enjoy it, there's better ways to optimize that today. And lifting weights, like lifting up rocks, that's how we've been doing it for 100 years. Now with AI and technology, there are better ways to do that to get your time back into your life. So I would say from that question of how did I get opened up to it, is having my dad's influence on me, and then just learning. And once I started learning and peeling back different layers and just learning from different sources, I think that continual wanting to learn and enhance myself. So
yeah. And before we had gotten on the air, you had told me that you originally were in the background of taxes and this corporate life. So where was that transition from going from corporate life to now owning a facility basically that's helping people optimize their health?
Yeah. So yes, that's my background. I have a master's degree in accounting tax, which I don't use professionally other than now in my own business. But I, had started, I was always in the background passionate about biohacking. And as I had that career as, something that I knew I could, have good benefits and, was a career in life, but it was never fulfilling for me. I wasn't passionate about it. But when somebody would talk about health and biohacking and fitness and nutrition, I light up. And so, I've had some events in my life, I think as we all have, where I sit back and I realize, life is very, very precious and it's very short. And what do I want to do with my life? And that is where I had the opportunity to open and upgrade labs and really share all of this tech with my community. Really, it started with, I would love to be able to have this for my family. I've lost some family members to different health related issues. And, had they had access to this tech that we have, I think it could have changed things. And then it's, how many other people can I help in my community by bringing this here?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind diving into some of those situations that you just described that I think we all have of troublesome and hurdles that we have to get over? What are some of those examples that you've had to experience with making this decision of starting this up, going off into something that lights you up, but that's a lot of faith in that? What have been some of the struggles in your personal life to getting you to the point of this?
Yeah. So I lost my dad 10 years ago. I also lost my brother 5 years ago to a drug overdose. And, through that, I very much value my health, and I value other people's health and just want to be able to help them. At Upgrade Labs, we do have a neurofeedback program. And I did a very intense week-long neurofeedback program at 40 Years of Zen. And through that, it really is a very expedited way of getting through some of the, traumas or, anything really that has a trigger, and working through any of those triggers and being able to overcome them. So I feel very fortunate that we have that here, right here at Upgrade Labs. And, you don't have to go do this program at 40 Years of Zen. We have this here. So for me, it was really, sitting down and really knowing the things that I value in life and that I really treasure. And that was, having more time, time with my family, and, being able to have time to go out and hike my dogs, and being able to really do the things that I'm passionate about and really talk about them and help educate others about them.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what that neurofeedback program is and how that actually implements into the lives.
Yeah. So the neurofeedback is training the alpha brain state. And so when we do that, we are much more present. That busy, nagging voice that we have in our head sometimes, or maybe it's a voice saying, hey, you're not good enough. Nobody ever said that you're not good enough. But why do we have that chatter? We also have the chatter of personally, I'm a tennis player. I'm an avid tennis player. And sometimes there's, I can't focus in a match, and it's, I'm thinking about everything else I need to be doing, going to the grocery store. And so it really helps to, by training that alpha brain state, helping us to be present in the moment, much more confident decision-making. So with this program, we have 10 different programs that take you through each level. And so, for instance, there's a program like on gratitude. When we are in gratitude, we are in that alpha brain state. And so with neurofeedback is what it does, that where it's different than other brain entrainment products, it is actually giving you the feedback of your brain when you are in that alpha brain state. So we have electrodes that we put onto your head, and then headphones so that you can hear that brain when you are in those brain waves. And then afterwards, you receive some feedback on how long you were in that brain state, so that you can more easily, when you're out in the wild, out in real life, more easily get back into that alpha brain wave.
I did neurofeedback, probably, I would say probably 6 years ago. And I don't know if any of your patients have this, but what I realized was things that I was working on, or each stage that I was working on, they would actually enhance before they would come back to a normal state. So like one of the neurofeedbacks was for sleep. And so for like a week, my sleep was shit. Like it was, I couldn't sleep, insomnia, really terrible. And then it was like I kicked out of it, and then I was kind of a normal sleep schedule again. However, I was doing shift work at that time, so it's always kind of, different. But I noticed that many times when I was doing neurofeedback, where I would come out of it and I would be so sensitive. Like I would just like, holy cow, this is like disrupting me. I would be crying over stuff. Like I'm going to say more than I normally do, because I am a pretty sensitive person. But I would say my experience with neurofeedback was probably not my favorite. Is there any correlation, or maybe you do or don't know this, about like how traumatic the brain is, or how many traumas that they've gone through to neurofeedback? Like how intensive that can be? Do you know if there's anything with that? Or
to be very honest, I don't. Yeah, I am not positive on that one. For me, I felt like when I did neurofeedback, when I was in the intense program for a week, I slept really good, but I believe it was because I was so emotionally exhausted, because I was working through so many of these traumas and doing so many resets, that I think I was emotionally exhausted to where my sleep was really good. And afterwards, it felt like I was almost in a trance, I would say, like just so calm. But I feel like the benefits have come over time. I don't know how you feel about that. If you feel different, like immediately you said you had those impacts, but do you feel like it took maybe like 3 or 6 months to...
I don't know if it would. This was a while ago, like I said, that I did it. I think one of the difficult parts is, doing neurofeedback and then you're still continuing to have traumas, because that's obviously what my work was, right? And that's a normal part of it. So how do you clear the old stuff and you're accepting this new stuff?
Yes.
And so I don't, right off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly. I felt like there was some relief to certain things, or not letting it consume me as much. Like that, the term literally letting it go is what I do remember. With your neurofeedback, do you also do a brain map?
We don't.
Okay.
We don't here at Upgrade Labs, but 40 Years of Zen does do the brain map.
And what is 40 Years of Zen?
Yeah, so 40 Years of Zen is a company owned by Dave Asprey, who is also the founder of Upgrade Labs. So it's a very intense week-long program where they do have neuroscientists there and facilitators that help walk you through a lot of these programs that we have prompts for here at Upgrade Labs. Our neurofeedback was designed by 40 Years of Zen. So that program has been running for a long time. It's a lot of executives, professionals, professional athletes in general that attend it. And they do a couple brain map. They do a CAP session. So that part we don't have at Upgrade Labs, but we do have the neurofeedback, which is where you spend the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm. Who are you seeing search this kind of service out and getting to use it? Who is that kind of ideal client
For Upgrade Labs Meridian.
for the neurofeedback?
Neurofeedback. Yeah, good question. So, we have right now, like, we have a member who is 10 years old, and she was prescribed it from her doctor. Her doctor recommended it. So, I mean, anybody right now, we have from 10 years old to 82 years old. And we have people that have searched us out just specifically for the neurofeedback, because a lot of places offer neurofeedback, but they don't offer everything else. And so once they find out that we have neurofeedback, but we also have recovery and performance, really for such a good price of offering everything. So we've had some people that have come to us from that view. But we also have some people that are new to neurofeedback, and they came to Upgrade Labs because they were in search of, recovery and performance, and then found out about the brain fitness piece, that they have just been introduced to it and have started adding that into their wellness journey.
That's awesome. That's super cool. You talking about brain fitness. What are some tangible things with biohacking that people can be able to, kind of get themselves out of those ruts that they're in, or biohack their mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say an easy one is breath work. It's accessible to everybody. It's free, it's just taking some time. So I think breath work is an easy one. Another one that we have at Upgrade Labs is called PEMF, Pulse Electromagnetic Field Therapy. So it's pulsating magnets. It feels like tapping magnets, but it gives a grounding effect. So it's like replicating walking on earth barefoot. And so it's really good for our emotional health, for anxiety, depression. With that, also for mental health, that said, just grounding yourself, going and walking on earth, barefoot, going outside, getting some vitamin D.
So many people talk about grounding, and I remember actually asking Cheyenne with Biohacking Nurse. She was actually my second episode. And I remember asking her, describe to people what grounding is and the benefits of it. Like when you talk about, okay, I go, barefoot walking outside to go get my mail, but is that grounding? Is that actually intentionally, or what is intentionally grounding, and what are the benefits from it?
Yeah. So grounding, another word that you may be familiar with as well for the audience, is earthing. And there is a documentary on earthing. And so, yeah, it's really just the negative ions. And there's a ton of science behind it of just being outside barefoot in the grass. And yeah, with that, it's, lots of science. There's also different grounding mechanisms, sheets that are grounded these days. At Upgrade Labs, we also have a grounded coffee bar. So it's grounded with a metal steel pole within our grounding bar that's plugged into the electricity.
Okay, and what does that do?
Yeah, so it just really is grounding. It's calming. I would say that's the biggest. It's calming. Really good for the nervous system, of just calming that nervous system.
So you come in to Upgrade Labs, you go in, get coffee. Is it a certain place that you stand? Is it like explain this to me.
Yeah. So we have a coffee bar, Upgrade Labs. And so if you just sit at the coffee bar and put your elbows on the coffee bar while you're drinking your coffee, you're also being grounded while you're drinking this coffee that is, certified mold-free, toxin-free. We have trace minerals placed into the coffee. So many benefits by just sitting there.
Yeah. Okay, explain this to people that are like, okay, this is so woo-woo. This isn't making sense to me. Like, how does a coffee bar do this? And I know you've explained it and there's science behind it, but to the people, and I think the people that I am around is a lot of these first responders, a lot of these men that are like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? Can you explain it into a point of, and I think you have, but just at a deeper level of why is this benefiting them? Why would they want to come to Upgrade Labs and sit at the coffee bar and ground, and then they're like, yeah, wife, like I went and did this today. Like explain this a little bit more for me.
Yeah, of just the grounding piece of it.
Yeah, and like the benefits that you're going to see in your life from doing these things.
Yeah. I would say the benefits of just calmer, being able to move through things more easily. It will help to not have the triggers, maybe where something triggers you if it's like driving down the road. I think you will notice a calmer sense about yourself. So it's really just replicating walking on earth barefoot by being connected to this bar on the coffee bar that is plugged in through electricity to get the grounding benefits of it.
Okay. And what else do you have in there? Because you guys have some other, like red light, you guys have some other services in there as well, right?
Yes. So the whole idea of Upgrade Labs is to come in, get your workout in much more efficiently, quickly than a traditional gym, recover. All of our recovery modalities are of the same caliber that professional athletes have access to, the millionaires, and it doesn't need to be that way. Upgrade Labs is to bring all of these different technologies under one roof so that everybody in the community has access to them. Sometimes you can get some of these different technologies at different doctor's offices, but you're running from one office to another office to get all of them. So it's bringing it all under one roof. Our performance equipment is AI driven. So our strength machine is once a week. It's under 5 minutes, and it's the fastest way to increase muscle mass. So that's our strength machine. It's called the cheat machine because really we're cheating our workout. And then we have cardio, which is an AI bike that is an 8-minute bike ride, and it gives you the results of doing 40 minutes of cardio. And so in that, there's only 2 20-second sprints, and then you're returning back to baseline. So strength and cardio, much more efficient way to work out than a traditional gym of, running on a treadmill or lifting up barbells. So we're getting our performance piece of it. And then the recovery side, pretty much everything on the recovery will reduce inflammation. It will also increase your whole body phase angle, which is really known as the true marker of longevity of health. We have a machine that will measure that whole body phase angle. It's called our cell health analysis. I would love to give a free cell health analysis to anybody who's listening to this podcast.
Cool.
And so with the recovery side, we can then measure how well we're doing with the whole body phase angle. And we can also measure on the cell health analysis our inflammation levels and see if we're knocking those down. So the cell health analysis is a quantifiable measurement tool for us. When we have somebody that comes into Upgrade Labs, we, talk about what are your goals, what things do you want to target, and then between learning about their baseline assessment and the cell health analysis, we then will write a prescription for them. We call them stacks. We would generate a stack and help our members to know which pieces of technology they need to use and in what order and how many days a week.
Okay. And is it like just one machine that's doing the strength training, or is there multiple different? You have the bike, but is there multiple ones for the strength training?
Yeah. So we call them cheat number 1 and cheat number 2. Most people stick on cheat number 1. So cheat machine number 1 will do your chest, row, and legs. And so it really targets the big 3. Our cheat number 2 will do the smaller muscle groups. So we generally start people on cheat 1, and then after about a month or 2 of being with us, we may add in cheat number 2 another day a week.
Wow. Are you seeing people, obviously longevity, but losing weight with this?
We do, yes, especially with our cryotherapy. So cryo turns on that fat burning mechanism. But yeah, we absolutely we are, especially with our AI bike and the cheat machine. I would say I myself have quite the success story. Even after we've opened, I've seen a really dramatic change in all of my numbers from that cell health analysis.
Wow. And do you mind telling us a little bit about that and what you've seen in yourself?
Yeah. So absolutely. So I myself, when we opened, of course, I've always thought of myself as being, healthy, but I think, managing stress after opening, after we opened, I decided, okay, I need to take this serious and I need to get on the equipment myself. And, before I was stepping back thinking, gosh, I have, too much work to do, but it really has been pretty easy to dedicate myself, especially where the cheat machine is once a week. And also getting very consistent with the cryotherapy. I could see a big drop in my cell health analysis numbers. Visceral fat, so we're able to measure that on our cell health analysis, which is the fat around our organs. And so my visceral fat has dropped 30 points.
Wow.
Yes. And we also have different ways of measuring the cell health analysis between, our weight, our skeletal muscle mass, and our body fat. And so I've seen a dramatic shift in that and some different curves, you can say, that we can see on the scan. So of increasing the muscle mass and dropping the weight and body fat.
Wow. So you talk about 30 points. What is that in relation to?
Yeah. So on our visceral fat, the baseline for everybody is to keep that at or below 100. And so I was in June around 90, and now I'm upper 50s, sometimes 60. It bounces around a little bit. Yes. So it's just a benchmark. It's a number that we're looking at to keep under 100.
Okay. Because when you think of like 30, is that 30 pounds? Is that 30, what is
Yes.
that in relation to? And that totally makes sense of, the numbers of that. Where do you see, this making the biggest impact in somebody's life? Is it, taking them to the next level of, their athletic performance? Is it, the entry level? Like, where do you see your clientele, like, that you want to help the most?
Yeah. We have a couple, clientele. We have some athletes, absolutely. We also have some members that are overcoming different, diseases and helping them through their health journey. We also have, I would say some true biohackers that are in there just, trying to optimize their health and trying to hack their health essentially. And we also have, I would say, a big group just where we're helping with the community aspect, like people that are, looking for a community, they're meeting others. I feel like we're very warm and welcoming. And I think that is a piece that is unique to our center.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How can people, or I guess, before I wrap this up, like, what is something that you want the community to know about Upgrade Labs that maybe they don't know, and how you can be able to support them?
Yeah. So Upgrade Labs is, brand new to our community. And, I think that you don't have to have an ailment, a disease. We can help everybody optimize their health and longevity. And, it's never too late to start. That's the other thing, at any age. And we have some very young members. And I think sometimes, gosh, that's incredible if we'd all started biohacking at that age, but it's never too late. We can help everybody. And I think to, come check us out. It's sometimes the technologies look a little intimidating. And so I think coming in and letting us walk you around and showing you and learning about like your specific goal and how we can help you to maximize that.
Absolutely. I love it. I'll definitely have to check it out. I had just gotten my labs back from my blood draw, and then I also did a saliva test for my cortisol. So I'm biohacking on some supplements. Actually, she's like, you need some stress, relievers. I'm like, yes, I do. Running real estate, the podcast, life, all of the things. And so what you're saying is so much of this hustle and bustle life, and being able to come and take minimal time and improve your health and your, overall well-being as a human being, which is incredible that you are offering these services. And, for any listeners that, heard of her giving a free what is it called again?
Cell health analysis.
Yes. Cell health analysis. There we go. I'll get it right. Definitely let her know that you found this on the Raw Thoughts podcast. I would love for you guys to go in, check it out. I'll be doing the same thing. And where can they find you in Meridian?
Yeah, so we are at the Village. We are kitty corner from the Boise Co-op.
Awesome. Very cool. See, you can go in there, then you can go have a healthy lunch from the co-op, and you can get your supplements there. It's a whole health aspect, which is super awesome. So Haley, I appreciate your time coming on and just explaining a little bit more of what these services do, how they're used, and how they can improve your life. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Raw Thoughts listeners, thank you for another episode with me. I will catch you next week for another episode. And also, don't forget to check out the solo episodes. Have a good day, guys. Bye.